There's a very strange bug a lot of people have seen glimpses of before, but I think I figured out roughly how it works, if not exactly. So if you have parachute selected, just jump into a wall holding left, like this.
Come on!
And the moment that you land, just press space. You teleport back to the spot you jumped from. So I'm just calling this Jumpaport. And the cool thing is, you have a pretty generous amount of time to do this.
Get on up!
You know, it doesn't have to be super exact if you have parachute selected. One thing about this is that you have to bounce off a wall on the downward trajectory of your jump. You can't do it while you're like this. That's not going to work. You have to have passed the halfway point of your jump, basically. You don't have to hold left the whole time. You can hold it intermittently. The main thing is you're holding left right as you land. So what's really crazy about Jumpaport, take a look at this. I'm just going to do a series of unbroken jumps where I don't walk at all. I can do backflips if I want. You can also do the double enter jumps. But if you happen to be holding right and then lands, well, that might mess things up. But take a look at what happens. I can also select parachute at any point along this jumping path. Teleports me all the way back, so there is no limit, as far as I know, to how far back it'll send you. It'll send you back to the last place where you walked, basically. But there is one limit that we need to go over. Okay, let's say I'm doing a series of jumps. That's my starting point. And I'm going to do Jumpaport by pressing space right as I land. And notice it teleported me here. So what the game does, it's just going to walk you back from the point where you teleported, like walk your worm back, until either it hits a slope that you can't climb up and you get stuck on, or a gap that you would drop off of. So the highest thing that you can climb up is 32 pixels right here, so like roughly the height of your worm. And sometimes you can climb up this slope, sometimes you can't. Definitely cannot get up 33 pixels right here.
Is that it?
And over here, if we jump over a gap...
Ready.
So I'm going to do, got shoot selected. Okay, jump, hold left, space. And so it teleported me right here, just to the edge of this gap. Because it's like, okay, you're here, it's just going to walk your worm back. And if I was to keep going, I would fall off here. So that's where it stops you. There's a second version of Jumpaport where you can basically select any weapon. All you have to do, same thing, so forward jump, holding right in this case. I'd hold left if I was going left. And I just want to time space the instant that I hit the ground.
Hey!
And we teleport, once again, just walking the worm back as far as it'll go before it encounters a 32 pixel or higher gap. So it teleported me here. It's important to note, this version of Jumpaport is brutally hard. You never want to attempt it, basically, unless you're in a really tight spot, I guess. And it only works occasionally. You really can't tell when or where it's going to work. It does tend to work on uphill slopes. I believe that's because sometimes when you land on an uphill slope, it causes a little landing animation, and I think that's the tiny gap you need to do this Jumpaport, but you only have like a frame to do it. It's crazy. And so I confirmed this works for basically every weapon. I'll just go over the ones it doesn't seem to work for. So it doesn't work for girder or homing because you can't, select those while you're jumping. It doesn't work for rope, jetpack, teleport, drone, worm select, or skip go. And of course, same for the SG magnetic drone, and safe teleport. So anything where you can't actually shoot something while you're jumping. Also does not work for party balloon, weirdly enough. And if you have an animal or a sentry gun, here's what happens. Animal gets released, you teleport basically at the same time. Oh yeah, it also does not work for fire punch, but a weird thing happens. you get a little mini fire punch if you get the timing right. That's odd. I don't know if there's any use for that, but it's nifty. Okay, let's take a look at a totally not contrived scenario where we might use Jumpaport.
Hello.
So I notice I have a really long flat section, and I want to kill both of these worms. Let's say that I don't have any weapons, no drones or anything. So I'm just gonna keep on jumping. And I see there's a nice flat wall I can Jumpaport off of at the end of this. Okay, maybe I'll do a little backflip just to make sure.
Hi. Who you are calling, sucker? Hi. Hi.
Okay, so I've saved myself a little bit of time there. It only teleported me to the drill boat just because there's a gap I would fall off of if I walked off the drill boat.
Fire in the hole.
Okay, we got him. As to my thoughts about this glitch, should you use it in a ranked match, I think it's fine. You're almost never going to use it, so like, what's the harm? It seems like a pretty innocent bug. I don't think there's any risk of a huge exploit here.